Police are following leads, but still looking for a man who robbed a bank in South Fargo earlier this afternoon. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Krista Boehm. Police have released this surveillance photo of the suspect who walked in just before 12:30 this afternoon, handed a clerk a note demanding money. The note also indicated the man had a threat of force, but police would not specify what kind of weapon. Though he never showed it, the clerk handed him an unknown amount of money and left running west. A canine unit was unable to track him, and police say he's around 5'6" to 5'8" and in his mid-20s to early 30s. If you have any information, call Fargo Police. We've been updating you all day and will continue to online and on our Facebook page. Just search Valley News Live, like our page, and you'll stay informed throughout the entire day. We first brought you this story on Tuesday. The avian flu virus has hit a chicken farm just southeast of Hawley, Minnesota. Today, the Minnesota Board of Animal Health is depopulating the nearly 300,000 chickens. Valley News Team's Christina Craig has the latest.
It's all telephone conversations. I haven't seen him face to face, even though he only lives a mile away.
And it's the reason why we couldn't speak face to face with Benedict Bear's uncle either. Just down Bear's driveway sits his uncle's farm. That's been under quarantine for the avian flu.
If you've got mud in your tires and it tracks out in a county road, somebody else driving through it might transfer to another farm. And we've got to wash all tires and fender wells and everything off before we leave the property and disinfect.
Very real. It can be carried on dust particles or any kind of organic matter through the wind.
With about 350,000 chickens, Bear's not taking any chances.
We've got all clean clothes, clean shoes, everything for inside the buildings. We're not bringing anything or anybody from outside in.
On top of that, he's been testing the chickens every day to make sure all efforts to prevent the virus from spreading and dealing with the situation like his uncle's.
We're going to take the birds out of the cages, transfer them into the lower level of the barn, which is normally the manure pit, and then we're going to fence them in, and we're going to use the fireman's foam to cover them.
Which will kill the chickens and the virus over the next 5 days.
Yeah, it's difficult, and we're just hoping that it doesn't happen to the rest of us too.
Near Hawley, Christina Craig, Valley News Live.
Flu and all threats, they told us they are not sure if they will reopen. And the avian flu is getting the attention of Minnesota's top lawmakers. Governor Dayton, Senator Al Franken, and others joined at the Wilmer Emergency Operations Center, the poultry testing lab, and then held a public forum where those in the poultry industry could ask questions. Farmers say they need more equipment to quickly euthanize the birds, more people to help clean infected barns, and financial assistance to get through this crisis. Officials also want to find out soon how avian flu is transmitted. As of this afternoon, 49 farms in 17 Minnesota counties have been hit with the avian flu. Nearly 3 million birds have been lost. Emergency responders pulled a man from the Red River this afternoon after people along the First Avenue Bridge spotted him. The water rescue team was called in around 12:30. When they arrived, he was floating on his back and not responding to their calls. Fargo firefighters say they don't know why he was in the river, but don't believe he jumped from the bridge. One of the passerbys said he heard a splash and a call for help, and that's when he spotted the man in the water. The other Good Samaritan who stopped and called 911 says it was a scary situation.
He was not responding in the water to me when I was yelling at him. I could just see him bobbing up and down, and I just kept telling dispatch, please hurry, please hurry.
The man was taken to the hospital by FM ambulance, and authorities say he appeared to not have any injuries, but say he's lucky someone spotted him because it might have saved his life. A 63-year-old near Valley City was driving when he crashed his car north on Highway 1 around 10:30. He suffered from an abrupt severe medical condition and lost control of his vehicle, which then drifted into a ditch and continued for a few hundred yards before hitting a rock pile at the edge of a field. A motorist stopped to help and started CPR. Emergency responders arrived and took over. Both the man and his 58-year-old wife, who was his passenger, were transported to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. His wife suffered minor injuries in the crash. A Jamestown man was found lying in a field 7 hours after he rolled his car in Logan County early this morning. 55-year-old Stephen Miller was driving south on Highway 30 around 2 a.m. when he approached the T intersection at Highway 46 and failed to stop. He drove through a traffic sign, across a ditch, through a fence, and into a pasture. His car rolled several times before he was thrown from it. 7 hours later, a motorist noticed the crash scene and called law enforcement. Miller was later flown from Jamestown to Fargo Hospital. 4 people are behind bars after a SWAT team raided a home for drugs last night. Stephen Richards and Courtney Ivy were both arrested for unrelated outstanding warrants. Michael and Marlo Bell were each arrested for possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. Bell was arrested for terrorizing last October in this same neighborhood near the 300 block of 22nd Street South when a fight broke out and he pointed an airsoft gun at someone. Police say they were looking for drugs in the home around 7:45 last night. The controversial Detroit Lakes Hotel, that recently got the city council's approval has a connection to Fargo, to candidate for Fargo Mayor Brad Wimmer, who is one of the landowners. He would not speak to us about the issue on camera, but says the hotel is a non-issue and won't affect Tuesday's election, adding he's simply selling a piece of land. The DNR is threatening a lawsuit because they say the project disregards state law protecting shoreland area and city ordinances on height restrictions. Both Wimmer and Mayor Tim Mahoney are blanketing the city with flyers and handshakes as it's the last weekend until Fargo's special election. Valley News Team's Macy Anger joined both candidates on the campaign trail as they try to recruit voters.
We're big Bison fans, so we, sort of killed 2 birds with 1 stone. 1, we wanted to see the Bison play, and 2, the good crowd out here today. All kinds of people campaigning.
A kickoff to a weekend of campaigning. Mayoral candidate Brad Wimmer and his wife stopped by the NDSU football team's spring scrimmage, hoping to make some extra points with the fans.
See ya.
Before the game, Wimmer, along with a team of 40 people, tackled neighborhoods across town.
We invested, engaged, involved. We're going to talk public safety, we're going to talk water, and we're going to work with our neighbors.
Something Tim Mahoney's group took head on.
It's just to get out and to kind of talk to them. So revitalization of neighborhoods is important, safety and fire is important, and then we have to get the diversion done.
Even though each team has the same goal with a little different strategy, they both say one thing the same. They want what's best for the people of Fargo, and that's why they're out knocking on doors.
Tim Mahoney, running for mayor.
Very nice to meet you.
I tell them that there was early voting and to please get out and vote.
Rather than TV ads, Mahoney says this election, he wanted to intercept as many people as he could.
Special elections are always hard because they're held off time, off season, so it's always difficult for people to kind of remember.
Over 3,900 people cast their vote in the early election, and the candidates hope the rest of the city makes it out on Tuesday. In Fargo, Macy Anger, Valley News Live.
Fargo voters will also decide on city commissioners and a charter amendment. Polls open up at 7 a.m. and we have a list of polling sites on our website. Just head to valleynewslive.com and click on this story to find the one nearest you.